भगवान श्री योगी राम सूरत कुमार की जय। योगी राम सूरत कुमार, राम सूरत कुमार, योगी राम सूरत कुमार, योगी राम सूरत कुमार, जय गुरु राया। सूरत कुमार, योगी राम सूरत कुमार, योगी राम सूरत कुमार, जय गुरु राया। योगी राम सूरत कुमार, योगी राम सूरत कुमार, योगी राम सूरत कुमार, जय गुरु राया। राम सूरत कुमार, योगी राम सूरत कुमार, योगी राम सूरत कुमार, जय गुरु राया। योगी राम सूरत कुमार, योगी राम सूरत कुमार, योगिराम सूरत कुमार योगिराम सूरत कुमार योगिराम सूरत कुमार जय गुरु राया राम 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 योगिराम सूरत कुमार योगिराम सूरत कुमार योगिराम सूरत कुमार जय गुरु राया योगिराम सूरत कुमार योगिराम सूरत कुमार जय गुरु राया योगिराम सूरत कुमार योगिराम सूरत कुमार योगिराम सूरत कुमार जय गुरु राया राम 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 योगिराम सूरत कुमार योगिराम सूरत कुमार योगिराम सूरत कुमार जय गुरु राया योगिराम सूरत कुमार योगिराम सूरत कुमार योगिराम सूरत कुमार जय गुरु राया राम 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 योगिराम सूरत कुमार योगिराम सूरत कुमार योगिराम सूरत कुमार जय गुरु राया कुमार योगिराम सूरत कुमार योगिराम सूरत कुमार जय गुरु राया योगिराम सूरत कुमार योगिराम सूरत कुमार योगिराम सूरत कुमार जय गुरु राया Rama Rama Ram Rama 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 Ram Rama 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 Ram Rama Rama Ram Rama 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 Ram Rama 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 Ram Rama Rama Ram Rama 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 Rama Ram Rama 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 Ram Rama 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 Ram Rama 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 Ram Yogi Ram Surat Kumar Yogi Ram Surat Kumar Yogi Ram Surat Kumar Jai Guru Raya Yogi Ram Surat Kumar Yogi Ram Surat Kumar Yogi Ram Surat Kumar Jai Guru Raya Surat Kumar Yogi Ram Surat Kumar Yogi Ram Surat Kumar Jai Guru Raya Rama 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 Ram 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 Rama Ram Rama 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 Ram Rama 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 Ram Rama 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 Ram Yogi Ram Surat Kumar Yogi Ram Surat Kumar Yogi Ram Surat Kumar Jai Guru Raya Yogi Ram Surat Kumar Yogi Ram Surat Kumar Yogi Ram Surat Kumar Jai Guru Raya Yogi Ram Surat Kumar Yogi Ram Surat Kumar Yogi Ram Surat Kumar Rama 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 Ram 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 Rama Rama Ram Rama 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 Ram Rama 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 Ram Rama Rama Yogi Ram Surat Kumar Yogi Ram Surat Kumar Yogi Ram Surat Kumar Jai Guru Raya Yogi Ram Surat Kumar Yogi Ram Surat Kumar Yogi Ram Surat Kumar Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama Rama Ram, Rama 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 Ram. Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, 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 Jaya Guru Raya. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama Ram Rama 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 Ram, 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 Rama Rama Ram. Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Suratkumar, Yogi Ram Suratkumar, Raya. Rama 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 Ram 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 Rama Ram Rama 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 Ram Rama 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 Ram Yogi Ram Surat Kumar Yogi Ram Surat Kumar Yogi Ram Surat Kumar Jaya Guru Raya Yogi Ram Surat Kumar Jaya Guru Yogi Ram Surat Kumar Yogi Ram Suratkumar, Yogi Ram Suratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ram Suratkumar, Yogi Ram Suratkumar, Rama 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 Kumar, Yoginath Surat Kumar, Yoginath Surat Kumar, Jai Guru Raya. Yoginath Surat Kumar, Yoginath Surat Kumar, Yoginath Surat Kumar, Jai Guru Raya. Rama 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 Yoginath Surat Kumar, Yoginath Surat Kumar, Yoginath Surat Kumar, Jai Guru Raya. Yoginath Surat Kumar, Yoginath Surat Kumar, Yoginath Surat Kumar, Jai Guru Raya. Yoginath Surat Kumar, Yoginath Yogi Ram Surat Kumar Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Jaya Guru Raya. भगवान श्री योगी राम सूरत कुमार की जय। सर्वं योगी राम सूरत कुमारार्पणमस्तु। With our grateful pranams, we have offered the Nama lotuses at the lotus feet of Bhagavan. But for His grace, we all know very well this would not have happened. Just coming to a place like this where it's filled with the divine Shakti and sitting here for 1 hour, the powerful shrine, the atmosphere is no small grace. We have to celebrate it every day and continue our chanting. As we have been going through some stories, story after story of Papa Ramdas, read out to Bhagwan, Yogi Ram Sarat Kumar. We shall go through one more story today. This is a very humorous one and narrated by Papa Ramdas in his own inimitable way. I shall try my best. There lived a couple in a village. Both the husband and wife were young, yet there was often some misunderstanding or the other, and the husband made it a point to quarrel with his wife. He never missed his opportunity to let the wife know that she should obey him in all respects. The wife tried her best to satisfy him, yet there were areas where they could not agree with each other. With the result, at the end, the husband would end up the quarrel by a threat that he would give up everything. He would give up the home and his wife and run to a sadhu who lives in the outskirts of the village. But then the wife would shut her mouth and be afraid that he would do the same. She felt miserable. The husband used to go to the hut of a sadhu living in the outskirts of the village. Every evening would sit before him. The sadhu Mahatma, of course, would do the worship of God and teach them also the spiritual sadhana. He would give discourses. So the husband got used to going there, and somehow he used it as a threat to tame his wife. But then the wife was already reasonable, and yet when she came across this threat every time, she felt that she should do something about it. She could no more tolerate it. She felt miserable. So when the husband had gone to another village one evening on some business, she went to see the Sadhu Mahatma and put forth her version of the quarrels. She said, "Swami, at the end of every quarrel, he would threaten me. He would say he would run away from home, come to you and become a sannyasi and do service to you all his life. I'm unable to bear it. Please save me, help me." The sadhu smiled and said, "Amma, don't worry. Next time when he quarrels with you and threatens to run away, to become a sannyasi for life, you tell him he could do what he wanted." The lady nodded her head, came back home and waited for the next opportunity. When it happened, as usual, he started to threaten. He threw the threat at her, saying if she did not obey whatever he said in all respects, he would run away to become a sannyasi. And the lady flared up and said, "Do what you like. You can go wherever you want and do whatever you want." Now this came as a shock to him. He never expected, because this was his Brahmastram. Every time he quarreled, he only would start the quarrel, and at the end of which he would throw this Brahmastram just to make her miserable, which of course he succeeded in. Now when she said that, in a huff, he left home, went to the sadhu and said, "Swami, I have left home for good. I will not go back again, but I shall stay here, take up sannyas and do service to you all my life." Sadhu nodded and said, "Please sit here with me." And then, after 1 hour, it was time for afternoon prasad, the Bhojan prasad. Sadhu called his disciples and asked them to pluck lots of neem leaves. When they brought them, he said, "You grind them and make them into balls." So they did that, and soon the balls were ready, the neem balls. Then Sadhu Mahatma said, "For those of you who are sannyasis under me, this neem ball is necessary to observe brahmacharya and the austerities. So we shall have this neem ball for our afternoon prasad, and we would have it again for the evening prasad, and tomorrow also." So declaring, he distributed the neem balls to all his sannyasi disciples. And the husband who was seated there, a big new neem ball fell to his lot also. He was already feeling very bad about it. Even to think that he had to eat a neem ball for afternoon bhojan. Suddenly he remembered how his wife used to serve varieties of dishes. And here all that he has for this afternoon, only a neem ball, which would be very, very bitter. In any case, he had no other go, no choice at all. So somehow he managed to eat it up. He felt like throwing up, but then somehow he managed to contain it. And then the evening approached. The Sadhu Mahatma once again instructed his devotees to bring neem leaves, grind them and make them into balls. Again he declared, for brahmacharya and the austerities a sannyasi has to follow, this is the best medicine, the best food. And then he started to distribute. Now the husband who was seated there was in great pain. Once again the picture came before him, how his wife cooked varieties of dishes, and yet he complained, always found fault with her and quarreled with her, with a threat at the end to run away from home. Again the neem ball was placed in his hand, and he had no other go except to eat. Once again, with great, great difficulty, he managed to finish it all. And then the next day morning, again the sadhu asked his devotees to bring neem leaves, grind them and make them into a ball. Now the third time, a neem ball was placed in his hand, and he just could not tolerate it anymore, but then he could not show it to others. Once again, he managed all the time thinking of his wife, how nice she was, and that he had made a terrible mistake by coming away. But here once again, the sadhu declared, for brahmacharya and austerities of a sannyasi, this is very necessary. So all the other devotees and sannyasis ate it up, and he also had to follow suit. Again, the afternoon, the lunch prasad. He asked his sannyasi devotees to bring some neem leaves and instructed to make the neem balls. But then, the place where the husband used to sit was vacant. He had run away, unable to face the neem balls of a sannyasi's life. Sadhu Mahatma smiled to himself. And then 2 days after, when the lady came and reported very happily that her husband stopped quarreling with her and there was no more threat from him. So the moral of the story is, whatever life has been given to you, be it a householder's life or a sannyasi's life, whatever God has chosen for you is the best. And you must make the best of it. And never complain. Keep up harmony and make the best of your life. Whatever has been given to you by God is a definite blessing meant for your spiritual growth and your temporal happy living. If there was any deviation from it, it is of our own making, because of our own definitions of happiness. We shall now offer our today's prayer at the lotus feet of Bhagavan. Now, I remember another incident is coming to my mind just now. Bhagavan once was seated in the hut there that you see. Adjacent to the Murti, there's a hut here in Pradhan Mandir. Sometimes Bhagavan would sit there and sometimes on the chair. Once when he was seated there, it was afternoon, a couple came to him. And the husband was complaining to him, saying, Swami, her cooking is horrid. I'm no more able to eat it. But if I complained, she flaunts that the big spoon before me, she waves it before me in a gesture of threat and says, this is what you deserve. If you don't want it, you go away. Swami, I am leading a very horrid life. I don't know what to do. Then the wife said, it was her turn to complain. She said, Swami, whatever I cook, he always finds fault with it. And he says it in violent gestures. I am unable to bear it also. Please tell us what to do. Of course, it drew a cascading laughter from Bhagavan. But after that he became very serious and said to the husband, my dear friend, you are lucky that you are getting something at all in your plate. I knew what he meant, because in his wandering days, after he left home, he was wandering in the streets like a beggar, penniless. And there were 2 days, 3 days, when he wouldn't get even a cup of tea. And sometimes he got very dry food. He had to soak it in water and take it, some dry roti. Sometimes a food that decayed already with worms. Sometimes he wouldn't get anything at all. He would simply starve. Here, the couple had the chance to serve him, and they had a good house. There were so many blessings, but they could not see that. They could see only this quarrel. They were making their life very unpleasant because of these matters. So when Bhagavan said that, suddenly there was a heavy silence. It looked like they also understood what he meant. So you see, whichever life you are meant to lead, know that it's a definite blessing for you coming from God. It is the best place where you can progress spiritually. If you should think there's a better alternative somewhere, you would be far wrong. Now we shall offer our today's prayer at the lotus feet of Bhagavan. We beg you, Bhagavan, again and again and again, a million times, for your immediate divine intervention to change the ways of the world, where there is now so much violence everywhere. There's a growing misunderstanding and quarrels among people, growing enmity between country and country, and a lack of discipline, the way people choose to live, that would suit them with no basic discipline, and to create a philosophy for their way of life in order to justify it. So there is lack of harmony, order, peace. There is already the war that's going on with its devastating results, not to mention the killer diseases that attack us all of a sudden, and the violence of nature. We beg you again and again to stop the war immediately so that peace would be prevalent. And we beg you again to bring in unity, discipline, harmony, order, and growing friendship and mutual help. We also beg you to keep those diseases and the violence of nature under control. We also beg you to remove all those asuric thoughts, the negativities of the human mind which are responsible for today's world. Bhagavan, we beg you to reach out to all those people who have been stranded in varied parts of the world. Due to their past karma, they caught in the trap of some suffering or the other, unable to get help or protection. We beg you again and again to do the needful for them. We also beg you to protect all those unselfish people who have been slogging for the all-round welfare of other people from unworthy, unhealthy criticisms and reproaches. We beg you again to promote the economy of the country and the growth in varied fields of activity so that India would reach that high status of the world teacher, to conduct the whole world in the path of Dharma. We also pray to you in all intensity and earnestness to bless us to chant your name joyfully and ceaselessly, to bless us with unbroken remembrance of your Leelas and teachings so that we could assimilate and make them into Atma Shakti. We beg you again to bless us to be only sattvic instruments in your hands and not rakshasic elements. We also beg you to bless us to run our everyday life as an offering to you and not be caught by the temptations of Maya. We seek that ultimate state of being, the ultimate state of bliss and peace. But then we know we need to be purified. Of what? Of fear, anger, jealousy, sorrows, passion, and growing desires. You have said often that the Nama chanting is the best way, the most powerful way. The Nama is the best weapon to destroy our past sins and to prevent us from future sins. So we take refuge in your Nama, and by joyful and ceaseless chanting of it, we should make it into our Atma Shakti. Please bless us. Wherever we live in the world, whatever work falls upon us, we know it's all your work. And we should do this service to you in that spirit, the spirit of surrender, and that joyfully, without any unhealthy competition or jealousy. And Bhagavan, please bless us to practice acceptance, which would later lead to surrender. Acceptance of what? Whatever life brings to us, be it a joy or grief, coming from you can only be a great blessing meant for our spiritual transformation. For if there is no suffering at all, none of us would bother with God. Every suffering that we have to go through in life has this divine justice behind it. And what's more, it happens because it's necessary for our spiritual growth. So we should learn to accept every adversity as a blessing in disguise. And Bhagavan, please bless us to be able to feel your living, vibrant presence everywhere and in everything. Please bless us to see your sankalpa, your will behind all the happenings of life. And when there is a sudden attack of some past bad karma, things begin to change dramatically in life. Everything about life misfires. Nothing seems to work out the way it did all along. And life becomes terrible, unable to bear. And we collapse, we resent God and try to move away from Him. And we blame everyone else for our own failures, little realizing we have invited it by our past karmas. Every torture that you give to someone will come back to you with vengeance at your most vulnerable moment. Every word of praise will also be waiting around to come back to you when you deserve it. So beware. At least in this birth, we must try and do only what is best. Try not to hurt others. Try not to get hurt. Try not to be violent. Try not to be abusive. But learn to accept everything as a blessing. Our life is already equipped with so many blessings. It's just that we are blind to it, we take them for granted and complain about what we lack by comparing ourselves with others. Bhagavan, you for your part, compassionate and generous, will change all our difficulties into great blessings. We beg you to bless us to be grateful to you, even for the adversities. We seek your powerful blessings for all the species of the cosmos, in whatever state of misery they are, to be lifted to a higher plane. And finally, we seek to be free from the vicious cycle of births and deaths, to be free from the tyranny of ego, the I and mine, the aham bhavam. Please bless us with that atma bhavam, an immortal life, that eternal living, an eternal servitude to you, that eternal supreme divinity. Jai Yogi Ram Sadhguru.